I'm back here at the job site. I just made a video about them installing this plywood, installing these walls. Look at all these walls in the garage, and look how tall the walls and this big, huge beam is. For this, I'm going to be very interested and curious as to what the roof is going to look like above this when they get all said and done, right? But that's not what this video is about. This video is about, I'm gonna be walking in here. Let me get my stuff. Let me get my stuff over here, and so it makes it a little bit easier. Let's talk about these existing, or these door openings that they framed. Okay, and oh hey, they've got this open, and I'm just taking a look down there to see what's going on down there. You know, that's the access to underneath the house. Oh, okay. Well now, I guess I'm not going to talk about doors. I'm going to talk about bracing. Okay, and when they built all these walls, you can put a minimal amount of braces on these walls just to get everything up and ready. But before you start installing the plywood on the outside, they're installing half-inch OSB plywood, and you can see it all on the garage and stuff. And they had 4 guys out here today, and you can see where they stopped right here. There's more plywood under there. There's a whole stack of plywood over on the other side, and they're going to end up plywooding over here. But before they had to do that, they had to put up some extra braces. And once you build all your walls, you've got to plumb them up, and you've got to brace them. Now, speaking of bracing, when you have a long wall like this over here, and when you have all your adjoining walls tying into there, do you have to put a level on every single one of those? No, you just nail it and line it up from top to bottom where it's supposed to go. Okay, where they're supposed to go. And then even if that's off, that means the entire wall is off, and then they rack that. So if you put a level, and plumb it, which means level vertically, and you put it on the outside of a wall, let's say over here, and if it's slightly off, you take this wall and you rack it, and you can push it over this way, and then that will push this wall over. That'll take that wall, push that over. This one will come over. They automatically go over. So once you get this wall plumb, then you know all of your walls that tie into that are plumb. Now see, they rack the wall, and you can see how they've got this diagonal here, and that holds this wall from going any further to the right or coming here to the left. And usually on a long wall like that, they'll put more than one brace, but I don't see any more. I don't see any other braces on this wall. They could have had one over here, or once they checked that, everything might have looked fine before they installed this plywood in the garage. Because before you install the plywood, you got to make sure that long wall is plumb. Okay, then once you put the plywood on there, you're never going to move it then. Do you see what I mean? But once you put some sheets on there, they can virtually take that brace off the wall, and that wall is not going to go anywhere now, because that plywood is holding that wall from going to the left or going to the right. You see what I mean? And so what they ended up having to do is they had to start checking the perimeter walls before they install the plywood. And so they would have to check this wall and rack it, and you can see that they've got a 2x6 on here. They should have probably used a longer one, but they probably didn't have any, and they probably thought, that's going to work. And they've done this before, so they're okay. And that is holding that wall, is holding this section of wall. And then you see these braces here. Well, they've got to make sure that that wall there stays nice and plumb, because this little side wall is connected to that outside, and this little side wall is connected. So when they put their level on there, they put the level on that, or over here, they would check that, and then they would put these braces on here. And that's what they've done, and this is how they usually brace the interior walls. They'll take a 2x4 here, and you don't have to cut these at an angle. They just took a 2x4 and nailed it on there, and checked it, nailed it on here, and that's how they do that. Okay, and so they've started to do that on the interior walls too. See, before they get the roof trusses, which usually is a truss. It connects your roof with your ceiling joist. Before they lay those out here, before they come, all of these walls in here have to be checked, all the interior walls. So they'll rack the walls, they'll check the walls, and they'll make a determination where they have to put their angled 2x4s and check everything, because then when you install your rafters, your trusses, can you see why all of these walls on the inside have to be plumb before you do that? So that's what all these braces are for. And they're not necessarily done with all the braces, but they've actually worked on the perimeter wall. As you can see, here's another perimeter wall. They had to check that. They put that on there, and then you can see that they've really done some work on the exterior perimeter wall, because they've got these braces all in here. See, so we know that when they start this plywood over here on this side, they're going to just come right on around, boom, 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 until they get to however far they can go on both sides. And for some reason, like I said, they just haven't framed this exterior section wall or that over there. But and I don't know why. And I didn't get a chance when I walked by. The guys were working diligently, and I didn't want to stop them and say, "Hey, how come you haven't built these walls yet?" But they've got everything. They've got things braced, and they'll check all the walls before they continue the plywood around there. And we can see over here that they have not installed as many braces that they did over here yet. Over here, but they will before they install the plywood on the outside. You can see that they've started a few braces. They're just not done yet. See, here's a brace, here's a brace. This one, they're probably going to end up using that as a brace, but they haven't gotten to this point just yet. And see that brace on the exterior is on the exterior side. Well, that's probably what this brace. This 2x4, they'll probably put that over in here and nail that so that they can beat that one off, because that's in the way of the plywood. You see what I mean? And so all of that plywood they're working on, and I guess that's what their next project is. You know, is there a rhyme and reason as to which walls you frame first as opposed to second, as opposed to third? Well, you just have to talk to the person who's framing your house to find out what their game plan is, and make sure that they really read the plans properly, so that you know the exact height of these walls and where you've got to build a wall, you know, up high like they did over here. And the reason why they did all that was because they've got windows in here. They've got exterior windows way up high, so that's called a racked wall, I think, because it's not just straight, the same height all the way across like all these other walls. Okay, they had to actually build that, and they had to figure out what is the slope of the roof. Is it 4 and 12, 5 and 12, 6 and 12, whatever. Have you ever heard of that? 5 and 12, or let's say this roof here, it looks like maybe a 4 and 12 or 5 and 12. And that means if it was a 4 and 12 pitch, let's say, that would mean at the point over here, you go over a foot and it goes up 4 inches. So if you go down 2 feet, it's gone up 8 inches. That's called a 4 and 12 roof pitch. Now, lots of roofs around here, like the roof over there, I can see that's more than 4 and 12. That's probably a 6 and 12. but this one for some reason looks a little lower than that, and I don't know why that is. Maybe they're going to put scissor joists or scissor trusses, roof trusses on here, and there could be a truss that's above this, possibly. You know what a scissor truss is? It goes up at an angle rather than a flat bottom, and that way when you're in here, this whole section could be scissor trusses, meaning it could be a cathedral type ceiling, not a flat ceiling in here. You see what I mean? Because then it would kind of line up with these windows, because those windows are there. You've got to do something like that over here, and they didn't frame this wall like they framed this wall, did they? So over here is probably going to be scissor trusses from this point over that way. Cathedral ceiling is my guess. Over in here is probably going to be flat ceilings. Okay, you see what I mean? And this is probably flat, regular trusses, roof trusses. That's my guess. I don't know until they build it. Okay, but in any case, it's really interesting checking all this stuff out, and I hope you've been watching my videos. I've put a playlist all together for you in case you think you've missed some, or you didn't realize I had more videos on here. If you go to my YouTube channel, go to my main YouTube channel page, click on playlists, and then scroll down to how to build a house. I've got about 16, 17 videos on there so far, and by the time you look at this one, I might have 18, 19, 20, who knows. And I'm hoping to continue making videos over here. I talked to the building contractor. He said I could make videos. He knows I've been out here each evening making videos and stuff, and hopefully when they get further along, when they get the front door up and when they get the garage doors up on, or they put plywood on here, hopefully I'll be able to still gain access to inside here and maybe even see some of the subcontractors doing work. We'll see. And so I could have as many as 50 videos in this how to build a house. Who knows? But I'll keep going as long as I can. Well, that's all I have for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. What I'm going to talk about next time, I think I'll talk about I might talk about doors. Yeah, that's what I'll do.